Now to the urgent manhunt tonight for a convicted murderer.
An escaped murderer is still in the area.
Today we will talk about Danilo Cavalcante before his escape and arrest in the United States. How he managed to flee, deceive Brazilian authorities, and board an international flight even with an outstanding arrest warrant. Who he is, and what already made him a criminal before the murder of his girlfriend, also Brazilian, in August 2021, escaping from Chester County Jail on August 31, 2023, and being captured on September 13, 2023. Could he be trying to repeat what he did in Brazil? Take a look at the story and let us know in the comments if you believe he was attempting to employ the same technique. Cavalcante was born in Maranhão on July 3, 1989. No source could pinpoint the exact city. Among the 27 Brazilian states, Maranhão has the lowest average monthly income, according to Brazilian government statistics, around $162 monthly, while the highest is in the Federal District, around $582 monthly. It was precisely the airport in the Federal District that Danilo Cavalcante used to leave the country and reach the United States. But why did he flee Brazil? The answer is simple and not news to anyone at this point: murder. On November 5, 2017, he shot and killed Walter Jr. Moreira dos Reis. Some sources state it was on November 4th, but it seems they met on the 4th and the crime actually occurred on the 5th, as we will see shortly. Cavalcante had moved to the small town of Figueirópolis, with just over 5,000 inhabitants, in the Brazilian state called Tocantins. Situated in a very central position in the country, Figueirópolis' economy is based on agriculture, specifically the cultivation of soybeans, sugarcane, and watermelons. Perhaps due to this agricultural inclination, Cavalcante's family decided to leave the state of Maranhão for Figueirópolis. According to reports, this move happened a year before Reis' murder, probably in 2016. Therefore, at the time of the move, Cavalcante should have been around 27 years old. In an interview with a reporter from the New York Times, Cavalcante's mother said that he had never attended any school and began working at the age of 5. He started by shining shoes, then selling vegetables at the market, and by the age of 7, he was working in someone else's farm field. Before we continue, we'd like to ask you to subscribe and click the like button. It's a simple action and costs you nothing, but it greatly helps the channel grow. It is only known that upon arriving in the Figueirópolis region, he went to work on a nearby farm called Mula Preta, taking care of the cattle and machinery on the premises. His family bought land in a neighboring rural community where they raised cows and horses. To this day, his brother still lives on this property. Cavalcante and Reis knew each other. They were apparently friends. However, there was a disagreement over a debt. Despite many conflicting pieces of information, there are reports that Reis had crashed Cavalcante's car and didn't pay for the repairs. It's not clear whether there was an outright refusal to settle the debt or if he was just stalling. Reis' sister, Diane Moreira, even told the reporter,
"They talked through messages. A week before, he started threatening him. He didn't pay much attention because he thought they were friends and he wouldn't do that to him. But a week before, he started threatening him through messages and calls."
She said that Cavalcante literally said in some calls, "I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you." Apparently, before the crime occurred, Reis had already moved away from the city of Figueirópolis, a fact that may have made Cavalcante more anxious about the possibility of Reis not settling the debt. However, Reis had returned to the city to renew his driver's license, and that's when everything happened. It was the night of November 4, 2017. Reis and some friends were sitting in a snack bar. The place is close to the highway that cuts through the city and in front of a church, a simple location, but an establishment where locals would gather, as the town doesn't have many options. Cavalcante, possibly drunk, arrived in a small gray pickup and sat next to Reis. No one at the location, the owner, customers, including other friends of Reis, noticed anything strange, just two friends chatting. There was no argument between them, according to witnesses. After midnight, Reis' friends who were at the location went out to get a cell phone. Other customers from the establishment had also left. That's when Cavalcante suddenly pulled out the gun and fired several times at the victim. Sources say there were between 4 and 6 shots. There isn't an exact count of how many hit the victim, but it was fatal. According to the Public Ministry of Tocantins, more shots were fired even when the victim was already on the ground. After fleeing the crime scene, he hid on a farm less than an hour from the city, according to local residents. As he wasn't found right after the crime, immediate arrest couldn't be executed according to Brazilian laws. A judicial arrest warrant was issued on November 13, 2017, 8 days after the crime was committed. This time was enough for Cavalcante to leave the state of Tocantins and head to the federal district. But how did he manage to board a plane with an outstanding arrest warrant? This point is intriguing. First, we need to understand how the process works in Brazil. The arrest warrants seem to be determined by state justice, at least in this case. When issued, these arrest warrants are available to the police forces of the state but invisible to forces from other states. This exact point favored Cavalcante. There's a national database where once an arrest warrant is issued, it should be included in a way that all security forces have access. If this had happened, Cavalcante would hardly have been able to board a plane. However, outside the state of Tocantins, nothing hung over him. But why wasn't this arrest warrant in that national database? The Tocantins State Court itself responded after these questions arose. In a statement, the court justified itself, stating,
"As for the inclusion of the arrest warrant in the National Arrest Warrant Database, BNPM, it is important to emphasize that only on April 4, 2018 was the tool officially established as a national and integrated system of information about arrests in Brazil. That is, the judiciary acted within the deadlines established at the time."
It is believed that Cavalcante boarded a plane at Brasilia Presidente Juscelino Kubitschek International Airport in January 2018. And that's how he escaped for the first time and came to the United States. The rest of the story has already been widely covered by the national media.
Live pictures. This is the first we are all seeing of Danilo Cavalcante.
That's it for today. We hope you enjoyed it, and again we ask you to like and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel to conduct this kind of research. And see you in the next video.